Miss Beyonce today. Hello, my loves, and welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your money. Today is the Monday right after Love Weekend. We hope that y'all had a lot of love this weekend, even if it was just loving on yourself. We hope that you took that time to do that. Now, listen, today we're talking about Shein. Now, some people call it Shein. I call it Shein, okay? Because they are actually facing serious accusations right now. Shein is being accused of stealing content and designs from Black creators. And on top of that, they are claiming that they are altering Black women's images, and they make them to be white. So this is bigger than fashion. This is about theft. It's about ownership. It's about Black creativity being used, copied, repackaged for profit. And if you are an entrepreneur, a content creator, or a business owner, this conversation really matters because your ideas are your income. And if you don't protect what you create, somebody else will sell it before you do. We are really going to dive into this because, y'all, this is happening every single day. And there are people who are opening up their phones sometimes and going, wait a minute, that content, hold up, wait, that's mine. And it's not them. I hear it all the time. I've had it happen to me where I've created a whole course and another realtor came in, took my course, thought I wasn't going to find out about it, and put it to his people. And just so happens something mixed up. So how do we stop this? But we've got a lot of beautiful entrepreneur queens here today that we're going to talk about it. We have Marlo Layson, TV and film producer and journalist, and she is fabulous. We also have Renee Williams, clinical research strategist. Deborah's not here with us today. I'm sorry. Dr. Angeline Dean, creator of Melanated Neurons, Como Universe. I like that. And then you've got little old me, Laura Lala Key, internet singing, international real estate agent. Hello, queens. I hope you guys had a beautiful weekend of love because we get ready to dive on in this. We're going to dive on in this. Now, listen, before we look at the first video, I actually want to ask you if you've actually heard of this story, because Shein seems to be always in the news for either fast fashion, and we'll get into that, or stealing content or stealing ideas. So I just want to know if you've heard about this before we dig into it. So Marlo, is this something that you have heard of before?
Oh, absolutely. I was very familiar with Shein, either stealing design concepts, or in one case, stealing content wholesale. Yeah.
It seems to be common. I personally stopped using them many years ago after I figured out what they were doing. So what about you, Renee? Had you heard of this before?
Honestly, I have to be honest, I didn't. I was unaware that they were doing this. But when I heard about it, I was like, it was no brainer. I was like, okay, yeah, basically that's what, they are known in China for reproducing mass of everything, copying, iPhones, everything, anything you think of, they, copy it and put it on their websites. So. Yeah,
that's common too. Dr. Angeline, I mispronounced you early, but let me get it right because that is respectful. So I'd like to know if you have heard about this before today's topic.
Yes, so thank you very much, Lala. No problem, no problem. But yes, I have. And it's not like we all said, it's not only Shein. They're also stealing from up and coming new Black fashion designers. They're stealing from them during Fashion Week. And the pattern, the behavior keeps going on and on and on.
Yes. This is not something very uncommon, but today we're talking about Shein, but this is actually going on in many different companies. I mean, just recently we had heard about a lady who made hair clips, and a white lady took it and ran with it, and then she put a cease and desist on the actual creator. So this isn't something new, but it is something that we really need to be paying attention to, because as creators, a lot of Black content creators and Black inventors get the idea of creating something, but a lot of times we drop the ball when it comes to patents and putting trademarks on it and doing the right thing. We kind of fail at that, and that's how they typically get over on us. But let's check out this video, and then we'll get back into the conversation.
Don't piss me off. Shein has me so fucked up.
With expensive consequences.
That's not legal.
Powerless.
These folks are stealing from small Black designers.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Black designers have been calling out Shein for years.
The company Shein has stolen one of my designs.
Stole my designs too. Guys, how can I even keep up?
But now it's on a whole new level. It happened to Sabra Johnson too. Look at this. She says they took her photos and used AI to morph the image into a marketing video. This video is not real.
I was like, wait a minute. They literally got me put the sound of my shoes and everything on this video, like as if I was actually walking towards the camera.
Not on my watch and not on Black History Month. That's the sentiment for a pair of designers who have been going viral over what Shein did with a one-of-a-kind coat vest that they designed. It didn't matter how much it cost. Fashion influencer Sabra Johnson said she saw this puffer coat vest on the runway.
And I was like, oh my God, I have to have that.
They sold it to her for $1,500, which was the actual cost to make the coat.
How long after did you start noticing that your pictures were posted in marketing campaigns and to sell on Shein?
Maybe a little more than a month ago that like a lot of people started reaching out to me. Hey, I saw this on Shein. I saw this on Shein. And I'm like, so I sent it to Bruce and Glenn.
And that's when they went off online.
And guess how much she paid for it? $40.
They are stealing from small designers, usually Black and minority designers.
It's hurting the artists. It's hurting the environment. It's hurting the workers. I mean, it just goes across the board, you know, what it takes to, or what it doesn't take, I guess, to make a $40 garment.
Y'all, it burns me to no end, the fact that they sold it for $40 and probably not even making it well. You know, what you see online, what they create online, and what you get in the mail are totally different things. It may be a pantsuit and the top size is plus and the bottom size is mini, and then it comes from China. So it's like the return thing is absolutely ridiculous. You know, Marlo, why do you think big companies like these keep getting away with this?
Well, I think the biggest reason that they get away with it is because they can, right? You cannot, it is hard. I won't say you can't, because people have. It's very difficult to fight the machine. I actually have a friend who is a top hairstylist in the country. She does a lot of celebrity hairstyles. She's very well known. Her Instagram does very well. She had a lot of followers. And she got a cease and desist from the House of Chanel. Her middle name is Chanel, and that's what her salon name was. It was named after her. And she got a cease and desist because brand recognition is powerful. Now, how are you going to tell me to take down my name? That is my name that's on my driver's license, right? And so what really happens is people get exhausted, and it is really hard to fight a company that has a team of lawyers whose job it is to destroy small people that try to come up against them in these legal actions. It's even more complicated when you talk about international law, because what does international law say about this? And how can you prove, like you said, without a trademark, a copyright, even if you do your drawings and you label them and you scan them, right? And you have some type of digitization process for yourself so that you can prove when you created this work. It's still time consuming and costly. And most creators are not thinking like that.
And a lot of times they don't even have the budget for that. And you know, sometimes, you know, we have to think about it. When you are a creative, when you are an entrepreneur and you are really honing your craft and you're doing what you need to, you also can't be a jack of all trades. Sometimes you have to be able to pass off the expertise for someone to help you Build your business properly. And a lot of times people just like, I just worry about that later. But then it comes back to actually really bite them. Let's see what some of our family is saying, because I want to hear all the comments of how you're feeling. Because guess what else I read this morning, guys? Europe is not having it when it comes to them shipping these prices. They are now adding extra fees to Shein and Temu for every package that comes into their country, because they feel like those two companies are really hurting small business in their own countries. But look at how long it's been going on before people are now kind of striking back. So Incog says, isn't Shein Chinese owned? The Chinese have a history of taking others' creations and profiting off of it. Then we have, hi, Mama Waltrine, we're glad to have you here today. We miss you too, Deborah. And then Incog also said, it's not espionage with these people, it's theft of service. Nothing ever original with these culture vultures. Oh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Dr. Angeline, Incog said, culture vultures. I would like to hear your thoughts on that, not just with Shein, because we know that. We know that Chinese is good with that. But what do you think of when you think of culture vultures?
What I think of when I think of culture vultures, and that here it is, we're in Black History Month. Like I said before, this is pattern behavior, not just Shein. They stole everything from us. They, meaning everybody, comes to our culture to take what we have. So when I think of culture vultures, that's exactly what I think. What's next, right? What are you going to take next? Even in the beginning, when we talked about making the Black woman white, it's crazy, right? You want what we have, but you don't want to do it in an honest way. And so you steal. That's the history of this country. And then you stole us. You stole our inventions. You stole our last names. You took everything. So here we are. That's why I said this is not, it's sickening. It's sick. It's not surprising, but it's a pattern behavior.
Right. And then that sarcastic meme, surprise, surprise, because nothing surprises me anymore about what they do or anybody. And now with AI, guys, it's so easy for people to do these things. It's so easy to upload a photo into ChatGPT now and say, hey, I want to change this model into this, or go to Pinterest, pick an outfit and merge it with you. And now you've just taken someone's property. I just get so sick about that, because the music industry, the entertainment industry, the everything industry, everything, we are fabulous at everything. And everybody wants what we have, but they can't go get their own sparkle. So, Renee, what does this say about Black creativity and how it's valued in business?
What it says is that they don't care what, they dehumanize us. They take from us, they profit from us, but they won't give us a recognition, and they kind of like just erase us. It's like, here we are, we take your things, we're making mass money off of it, and then to insult and de-identify us, put a white woman's face on the product, saying that it's going to sell even better now because now there's a white woman on the face of this product. So it's just totally dehumanizing our Black culture, our creativity, our fashion, everything. And it spills into medical, spills into law, everywhere.
Absolutely everywhere.
It's
absolutely everywhere.
Everywhere.
So listen, I'm going to go back to our family because we got some conversation going on. Realtor Dominique Morgan says, this is horrible. And Soraya is saying, so true. Don't even ask to return it. They will give you an option of a 20% refund. What? Well, ma'am, sir, what am I going to need with a 20% discount on something I'm not going to wear, right? Then Realtor Dominique says they are powerful and their money is long, so they can do what they want. Trademark. And Double A says, and they never stop stealing, scratching my head. They want our rhythm, but not our blues. And I always say they want everything but the struggle, right? And then she says, I refuse to invite everyone to the cookout. I'm so agree with that. But, we've mentioned a couple of times where they have turned Black women into white women. And I have not only seen this in videos, but I've seen this even when doing t-shirt design. All the models are white. So if you're doing something that is Black centered, they only offer you white models, and you got to really search for Black models. But now we're going to see what this looks like. Let's check out this video.
Pictures on their page. This is a photo from my clothing brand. Stealing my picture is not the craziest part, y'all. So they edit my logo off of the bags. Pay attention to the color of skin on my homegirl. Small independent designers are stolen from all the time. Like, it's time to stand up. I'm so tired. And the race, you know how astronomical you have to be to edit my friend white to fit the aesthetic? Anyways, if y'all want to support a real creative, a real small independent designer, I sell very cute clothes. Everything is ethical. I would really appreciate the support. Dolce Clothing.
Well, now, Marlo, do you think this is racism, marketing, or both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that I don't know how to say this without, sounding however people gonna think I sound, but I think a lot of people, we're invisible 9 times out of 10, right? And then the one Black voice that is sometimes in the room, notice I said sometimes in the room, when they think about their bills and their kids in private school and all that other stuff, then they like, I'm not gonna say nothing because I have to take care of mine, right? And so that begets just a pattern of behavior that we've been talking about this entire time. And it's what happens, right? There is also racism, right? Because what has been projected about Black Americans who are we are the culture demographic of the world. If it's hip, if it's cool, they're going to look to us to see if we messing with it. And then everybody will mess with it if we are. Nobody is branching out and coming up with their own trends. Everybody looking at what Black folks are doing. So understanding that there is some racism to it because they don't feel like they need to acknowledge us, because what has been the global story told about Black people is that we are backwards. We did not have civilization. We did not have any type of understanding or knowledge because they don't respect our oratory traditions, right? They feel like if you didn't write it down, even though the things that were written down, a lot of times they destroyed them, right? So it is just a long pattern of behavior. And if everybody could jump on the lie, believe the lie, and go with the colonial narrative, it pads everybody's pockets. And at the end of the day, capitalism for the last 200, 300 years that it's existed tells us that that's okay, right? And so that's where we are. And what this young lady's plea is for people to support her, we need to start doing that. The reason that these companies survive is because we want to get them $7 shirts. Detach yourself from the will of consumerism and take care of your people. That's the best advice that anybody could give. But a lot of us feel like we can't live without these things. And as long as we feel like we can't live without these things, creators like her are going to keep having these same issues. We're going to be outraged. We're going to say racism. But at the end of the day, will we support our own? That's the question.
That's always the question. Now, listen, we have proven that our buying power really, truly means a lot. And we've proven it with Target and other places that we are boycotting. And, I'm still boycotting these places. Anytime I find anything out that is not okay with me, I do my best to not spend any money there. Target has not gotten any money from me. I very, very rarely, unless I absolutely have to, get anything from Amazon. I'm very cautious about where my money is going, and even down to AI. Like, guys, this whole new thing that ChatGPT's got out, I'm like, excuse me. But then again, everybody in these, I'm thinking it makes it so much, all of this stuff now is monopolies, that it makes it hard for us to make the wiser choices when all of the monopolies are the ones in control. So, Renee, why do you think people keep supporting companies like Shein despite the controversies that we hear about it?
Well, you just said it. It's cheap, it's cute, and they send it to you. And now you can, instead of getting that one quality outfit, you can get 10. And, 10 for $15. instead of getting that one quality outfit that may cost $200, $250. One thing I know that my grandfather would say, just make sure you spend your money on your shoes. Don't buy cheap shoes. So it's the mind frame that you want to be trendy, you want to get it now, and it's that instantaneous mindset that we all have. And if it's cheap, it's cute, and I can look good for 10 days with a new outfit. Why not?
Right. You got to start looking at yourself at some point, right? I mean, we're the ones who's spending it, right? And that may I work hard for my money. Everybody works hard for the money, and I want to be able to support companies that are going to support us, right? So Dr. Angeline, why do you think, I know I kind of touched on this, but I really want you to go into this a little bit deeper. Why do Black creators struggle so hard to protect their ideas legally?
I believe because first of all, I believe enough of us don't know what has to be done to protect our stuff. We get an idea and we run with it. Oftentimes we're taught to just go ahead, go do it, go run with it. We don't have an understanding of the difference between copyrights, trademarks, patents. And so I think also they struggle too because the access to money and the access to knowledge. And so without having both of those, they just run and they go. And so that's how a lot of our stuff gets stolen, because we're not taking the time to patent it. We're not taking the time to trademark. We're not taking the time to copyright. And sometimes, like I said, we don't even know we do. And I remember when I learned that you could have a state trademark and a federal trademark. I didn't even know that, right? When I first—
You probably just educated people just with that right there.
Yes. And so I remember when I first learned that, and the person that I used to do that part of my work, she was like, well, what do you want, a state trademark or a federal? I was like, oh, I didn't even know I had a choice. So again, educate. And then financially, how much some of these things cost to obtain, but it's worth it in the end.
Yes, it is. But we are also coming up against things that are taking away some of that education. Let's be honest. Like a lot of the DEI programs that offer the small business loans that actually go into the minor communities and help them out. Some of us don't take advantage of that, but the ones that do, they're now being cut out because all that has been taken away. Renee, I noticed you had something to say, and I don't want to ever pass up someone who's got something to say. Can you please add on to what we were discussing?
Thank you. To talk about the trademarks or the information you get out there, for myself, I had spoke to a certain, I don't want to say the platform, but I put in, how do I protect my website, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, oh, you can't do this, da, 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 whatever. And then I went to another platform that I paid a little bit more money. And then it broke it all down. This is what you need to do, da, da. So what I'm saying is the information out there can be skewed all the time. You have to be careful, even though you feel like, and so what I did is what they told me to do, simply went to my website, implemented all of that information, and now I will get it trademarked. But it's just, you have to, the point is, these chat GPTs and all of this stuff, you have to know exactly what they're saying and maybe do comparisons. 3 platforms, put in the same answer and see what they say, because I'm telling you, they do give you different answers. And funny enough, the one that was telling me that I couldn't do this, it is from a Chinese-based platform.
And there in itself, gals, remember, let's tie some things into this, because this is all tied in. When you think of the platform TikTok, remember, there was so much we are not supposed to do. They got so much information, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's Chinese, it's this, it's that. And then when Manus came out, oh my God, they're the next AI, but they're stealing all our stuff. And then outrage seemed to just go overnight. And we now accept it into our reality. So a lot of the things we're accepting is partly our fault. Because you either going to be outraged about it and do something about it and not use it and put your power into place, Or you're going to sit back and say, well, there's nothing that I could do about it. But I need that shirt. But I need that AI program. Where is the line? Where is the line? So listen, we got another video we want to check out. This is a really good conversation. Family, I'm seeing your conversations. We're going to hit them. Keep putting them in. Let's watch this video.
23 years of living have I ever fucking bought a wig from Shein. So why the fuck is my picture here? Okay? That's not, well, that's me, yes. But this is not I didn't get this wig from Shein, bro. I never even collabed with Shein. And first of all, I'm sorry, but I'm 23 years old. Never have I fucking ever said my hair has received a lot of praise. Bitch, what? The wig was still softer after washing. That sounds like a motherfucker who don't know motherfucking English. Use fucking Google Translate to put the motherfucking review here. Don't get scammed by these Shein motherfuckers, because I've never bought a wig from off here. Not to mention, this is the wig that they're fucking promoting. 40-inch, 250 density for fucking $22. Be so fucking for real. And my wig is fucking highlighted. Where the fuck? Why? I think the real question is, where the fuck did they pull that fucking picture from? Because that picture is not on my fucking Instagram. Unless they went to my hairstylist page and pulled that picture. But like, who the fuck do I talk to about this? I need my money. I'm about to sue the fuck out of y'all.
Well, we know that she likes the F word. But you know, some people, when they get to the anger, that's their anger limit. So, hey, I ain't mad at it, right? But listen, let's hit some of these comments first before we get into that, because there's a whole nother barrel of worms with that. Walter Green says, we have to start trusting our own, but the crabs in the barrel syndrome keep us from doing that. We have to do better. Oh, that is really good. And I really agree with you on that. Incog said, Stephanie Mills talks about this on Sister Circle about the music industry. She basically said they want our stuff, but they don't want it from us. Yes. And then realtor Dominique says, you know, because of lack of knowledge, everything we're talking about, the trademarks and things of that, lack of knowledge. Incock says, bingo, the lack of knowledge and financial resources regarding legal protections. And then she said, all these things like trademarks and are, you know, those things can be costly on itself, right? Deborah says, Hanifa is a Black-owned designer, and all of the online stores have stolen several of her designs. Okay, then she needs to be on it. But now, as Marlo said, we're not just talking about American companies. We can trademark all day long, but what does that look like when it becomes an international problem? This is really, really serious. So, Marlo, this young lady is saying they just stole all of her. They didn't just steal parts of her. They didn't change her color. They didn't do nothing. They just stole all of her, 1,000%.
And I
So
want
what
to
are the
say,
biggest part? What is the biggest mistakes that creators are making when they're trying to build a brand?
well, I think it's twofold, right? Like you have something in you that you want to get out. A lot of these designers start wearing their own brands, right? Then their friends are wearing them. Then they might style an event, a wedding, maybe a celebrity comes to town and they get to style them, right? And before they know it, the train is rolling based solely on their own creativity. And most creatives are not thinking, how can I make money from this, right? Other people get in your ear as a creative and start saying, you need to think about how you're going to make some money from this, right? Because that's not how the creative mind works. I also want to say, we talking about Shein and overseas, but the Kardashians have been accused of this as well. As a matter of fact, between 2017 and 2020, Khloe Kardashian had several allegations against her, and she actually settled with somebody in 2021 who was accusing her, I think it was bathing suits that this girl had designed, and that Khloe was just wholesale took the exact same design, same colorway, same everything. And it's hard. It is. You should. Yes, Dominique, watermark your photos. When you do something, it's your creation. Be sure you got some kind of logo. I always tell people, watermark it. Make your watermark translucent and put the watermark somewhere where they can't crop it out of the image. You won't get any good value out of the image if you crop it out and you've messed up the image, or people can't get a gist of what it is that you're stealing. But this also goes beyond that. Y'all, Lala always tells y'all I'm a little kiki online. I can't tell you the number of times that I've posted something. And Facebook is so messy. They'll show me what I posted, and then right behind it, they'll show me where somebody reposted my stuff without credit. They crop out my name, they change it. Maybe I did it on a text background and they do plain text. And it's happened several times. So this theft, I know that y'all don't think much of people's online content, but that's very small. The example that I gave of my stuff, when y'all take my words and remix it, put your game down, flip it and reverse it, or whatever you got going on with that level of theft, it's no different. It is a continuum, right? It starts at words, it ends at designs, at memes, at video clips. I had somebody try to take credit for an interview that I did where they took the bit of the interview and reshared it and reposted it without the proper context. It happens all the time, y'all. And the problem is attention. Attention is the drug that everybody craves in 2026. And so if you fail to get attention with your own content and you see somebody else's content getting attention, right? It's cheap for Shein to steal. They don't have to deal with content creators. It's cheap for Khloe Kardashian to steal. She don't have to pay a designer or have somebody on payroll that's getting paid. And we actually, as a society, applaud that. We applaud the riches without thinking about how the people got rich. And until we get serious about that, these conversations are just, for us to meet with our girlfriends once a week for an hour and chat it up.
But doesn't America promote that? I mean, as I was growing up in businesses, Wendy's, McDonald's, Cane's, Rising Cane's, and then you have the other chicken place, Chick-fil-A. So what they teach you is that you can do it, you just got to tweak it a little bit, and then it's yours. I mean, I was raised with that type of concept, and they still are saying that as long as you can find a way to get some, they say, don't take it all away, but to find a way that you can tweak it a little bit, and then that is yours. That's what America does.
Listen, you just hit a nail. Let me tell you, you hit it right on the head, because let's talk. This is still tied in, guys. This is still tied in. Just this weekend, SAG, Warner Brothers, a couple of other places have sued Seed Dance, which is another Chinese company that are stealing content from music, from actors, creating AI with real actors. And here's what they are going to fight back with, because this is how you're taught in AI. I know, because I get a love-hate relationship with it. But they will tell you, oh no, never put in Disney character. Say similar to Disney or Pixar or Bratz dolls. Never just say, I want a Bratz doll. You just need to say similar to, with the big eyes. And guess what? Comes straight up exactly like it comes out on Pixar, on Bratz dolls, on Disney characters. So there are ways around that even being taught today. Yes, you are so right, Renee. This is how we're taught. Just tweak it a little bit and make it yours. And now we are at this point where who owns what? Now, listen, I want to check these stats, because these stats, Lala likes stats. So let's pull up what the stats are saying and get back into this conversation. Social media has made brand theft easier than ever, because designs and concepts can be copied instantly and mass produced overseas, and badly, by the way. I've never seen a good one. The average American consumer buys around 60 plus pieces of clothing per year, which is far more than previous generations, largely because fast fashion is so accessible. Oh, I'm guilty. I've done it, but I've stopped. Many small business owners don't trademark their brands early, which creates major vulnerability. Trademarking in the US typically costs hundreds of dollars, but lawsuits can cost tens of thousands. I'd rather pay the lower price. Fast fashion is responsible for roughly 10% of global carbon emissions, making it into one of the largest polluting industries in the world. So we're not just talking about stealing, taking people's ideas, making it their own. We are actually talking about environmental situations. We are talking about our world. It's so much more than just culture. And fast fashion is one way that we are just not making it in the world. But listen, we talked about how much it costs. Now, Dr. Angeline, I'm coming back to you because we have talked about this a little bit, but how can a small brand, we talked numbers in those stats. How can a small brand keep itself from being copied?
Again, when I started out small, I didn't just jump out there. I was like, and this doesn't only happen. I'm thinking about grad school, even when they were stealing our work in grad school, right? Then the professors would write grants and then ask us to come work for pennies. And it was our work to begin with. So to answer your question, though, I just had a flashback because I'm dealing with this kind of stuff right now where it's happening to other Black students in a lot of these colleges, and we're not talking about it. We're not even talking about the fact, and Marlo touched on this, that sometimes it's us doing it to us. And we're supposed to sit back and be quiet and act like everything is fine and say, oh, she just has imposter syndrome. No, you're stealing from me, right? You're causing trauma. And so in my book, though, I will tell you, Marlo, I call them Negro hoes, Black whores to the system, because they don't want to stand up and fight on behalf of everyone else. And so that's my terminology for them. But and I think Marlo touched on this as well. If this is something that you're going to promote, this is something that you're going to do. Listen, I know you're excited. You can't tell everybody what you're doing. Don't tell your left hand always what your right hand is doing. Write it in a journal, scream it through your house, tell your house about it, right? And then make plans, put money aside, and do this thing step by step. To protect yourself. And even you have these other places, like sometimes the NAACP will be sponsoring things that you can learn how to start up your business. The African American Chamber of Commerce. I know where I live, we have a whole New Jersey Small Business Association. And a lot of times you don't have to pay for these things. You can go get access for free. You can go have them help you write a business plan for free. They can talk to you about copywriting and all of those things. So I would say make sure you do your homework before you just launch out there, and keep your stuff to yourself.
Homework is so important. I know we get excited, and we always, with social media, which we will get into, because I think a lot of this also is very tightly woven into what we see all the time. People are like, how to monetize. What do I do? Hey, open a TikTok shop. Oh, put your own branding on there. Hey, brands are reaching out to you. So you see it all the time. Everybody's reaching for that monetization. So Renee, do you think that influencers promote these brands irresponsibly? Because let me be very honest, when I open that, I'm not on TikTok anymore. I'm just going to be very honest with that. I couldn't take it when the flip over flipped, and I said, I am not returning to that. But they ain't it. Instagram and Facebook ain't innocent either. All right. None of them are. But when I open my phone, all I see is ads. And oh, I have an affiliate link. I have, at what point do you think that the influencers are also pushing this narrative that shouldn't be pushed? Or should they?
Right. I think they're not. We all have to critically think about how we are impacting our communities. And a lot of influence, like you said, it's about the bag, and and for their families and what they can do. And it's sad. I understand we're out in these streets trying to eat, but at the same time, if we don't stop and responsibly think about how we are impacting all of us, then we would continue to have these same conversations. And it's like, you just go about another day. Okay, we talked about it. Then you go get your burger wherever and sit down and continue on. What I'm saying is that we're not critically thinking. And I think sometimes, and what comes to me is when they burn down Wall Street, it's like, I seem like once things started happening, every time we do collectively come together, they have found a way to embed it in our minds, or that disenfranchise us, and for us to kind of like isolate in different things and not really come back as a community. Because I think really fear-based as to why we not coming together publicly to really say we are solid. We are going to work with our own people. Of course, they're going to go, oh, you're racist and all this other stuff, or whatever, but we're not doing that. And I think all of those Oklahoma, the bombings, all of that, I think has really triggered a lot of trauma in us. And we just kind of like say, I'm just going to sit back. I'm just going to sit back.
Exactly. And once again, who does that put the responsibility on? At the end of the day, we're all here talking about how such a shame this is, but are we contributing to this? Are we willing to look at the man in the mirror and say, is it me? There was a mom for a while. Is it me? Am I the drama? Sometimes you have to really check yourself to see
Yes.
if you are the drama. Let's go to some of the comments. Incog says, America does promote it. Look at how Mark Zuckerberg stole the idea for Facebook from the Winklevoss twins. Yes, exactly, and ran with it. And we were talking about how we are taught, just tweak something and make it yours, right? So that was what that comment was about. Anonymous says mainly women doing the purchasing. Now, Anonymous, listen, that's not the topic. It's not about women doing it. We're talking about, is this something that we need to be concerned about and something that we can do to make a difference, to stop what's going on? Walterine says, depending on usage, social media is a blessing and a curse. Amen, amen, amen. Lala has started a new mindset, and in the morning, she does not look at her phone for at least an hour. She sits down to write her gratitude. She does what she needs to do to get her head in the right space, because I noticed that it's not good for me to do that when I first open up my phone in the morning, right? And then Anonymous says, everyone steals from everyone. I see a lot of Black women walking around out here with blonde hair. Well, I see a lot of white women running around with box braids. Okay. He said he's keeping it real, but is real worth it? Is it real really something that we want to live with? Or, we need to question ourselves. Incog says, invest in a good attorney or use the legal consulting services like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer. Listen, it's out there for you. If you can't afford an attorney, you at least can get some guidelines off of LegalZoom and Rocket Lawyer, those types of things. Do I always promote them? No, but it's better than absolutely nothing. And chatty GPT, as much as I can't stand it, you can get some good ideas off of it and run with it, right? So now, Marlo, I got a question for you before we move off into this next section, but because we just talked about that, Anonymous brings it up, and he does have a good point. How do we balance affordability, ethics, all of this when it comes to our purchasing power? How do we balance this and feel okay with ourselves? At what line do we do this?
I mean, everybody's ethics are personal, right? So there is what for me is unacceptable for the next person is a green light. And so there are no universal ethics, right? I think that people need to think about, I guess, the world more holistically. Think about your city that you live in, your community in a more holistic way. And I think that that'll help people find answers. When we were talking about the boycotting Target, I had already backed off of capitalism and all of this like unnecessary kind of spending, right? I had already kind of checked myself in terms of how my behavior as a consumer is contributing to negativity, right? How is it contributing to the Ivory Coast having clothes just lined up, just wasted clothes thrown away and dumped along the Ivory Coast? How am I contributing to that? How am I contributing to, I want water equality for Flint, and I want the children in this place for this, and protesting and mad. But what is my AI usage doing to contribute to that, right? And I think that the issue is we don't ever want to really ask ourselves because I'm not the problem. I I am not the problem, right? That's the personal thought. But when you think of all the small things, how you can't back away from capitalism, how you can't not shop, right? You impulsively need to buy. You got 3 TVs, but you gonna run out on Black Friday and buy a fourth. You don't need it. And I think that we have to, as consumers, think about it in a holistic way and not in an individualistic way. That's where racism lives. That's how racism thrives. And that's how it keeps a little foot on our neck, because we are worried about the individualism of it all. If we're not going to think about the collective, then these conversations are really mute, because you have to find balance between the two. And consumerism is driving this problem. Shein would not be stealing from influencers if they weren't trying to mass produce because they selling $1 million a minute. They wouldn't do it. They're doing it because there is a consumer base that is ravenous for the new whatever it is that's going across my timeline. And you can't divorce yourself from consumerism and how consumerism is a problem. It's a problem for the environment. It's a problem for communities. It's a problem for pollution. And we are the ones that are bolstering the problem with usage and buy-in. And there is no walking back from that. And people have to check themselves, but everybody has to be honest with themselves.
And Shein is making a profit of $23 billion a year.
Yeah, so honey, they ain't worried about these extra fees that they're gonna be charging people to come in different countries, or the tariffs that have been put on. They don't care. It's the consumer who ends up paying it. So ain't no skin off their back. What people don't understand is you are the one paying for it. So what is it? Am I the drama? Yes, you are the drama. You're going to have to look at yourself. But we have another video that I want us to look at. Let's check this out and get back into this conversation.
Have y'all heard about what's going on with Shein? They've been named the defendant in a newly filed 52-page lawsuit. The suit states that Shein is stealing intellectual property from designers both large and small. Now, it's no secret that brands steal from small creators and have been for a while, but I wasn't expecting this. But dually, I guess that's the cost you pay when you cut corners. While I myself indulge in fast fashion, I don't condone stealing from small designers without credit or compensation. So honestly, I think it's well deserved. How do y'all see this panning out? Will this become a trend? Who do you predict will be next?
She said it. Hold up. Did y'all catch what she said? She said, I
had a problem.
There you go. I had a problem. I myself do fast fashion, but I don't condone this. That's a problem.
Yes, you do. You absolutely, you are absolutely co-signing. I am so, look, all week, y'all been talking about the Epstein files. I was in the mall on the Valentine Love Day, and y'all was walking out of Victoria's Secret with bags. That is where his money, the bulk of his money came from. You have to, once you know better, what did our good elder Maya Angelou say? When you know better, you do better. Once you know who these people are, once you know what they're involved in, you don't support it, show them with your dollars. They don't care about anything else. Your words are meaningless. So don't say it with your words, say it with your dollars. You don't accept or condone the exploitation of these creators. Don't just say it, show it. Show it with your money. My money spent anywhere. If everybody adopted my daddy's mentality and start selling themselves, my money spent anywhere, you will make better choices. You will be a better steward of the earth. You cannot have it both ways. You could never, not in capitalism, loves. You cannot have it both ways in capitalism.
Nope, you cannot. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You still responsible. Dr. Angeline, what does this look like for Black entrepreneurship in the long term?
So first of all, I'm about to take up an offering for Marlo because she was cooking over there. So it looks like discouragement sometimes around innovation, right? Sometimes they may lose momentum, distrust, more distrust. With what I'm thinking, it also teaches them that their brilliance is disposable. right? Anybody can snatch it up. Anybody can take it. I heard Renee talk about erasure, all of these things, right? And I think that's part of the trauma, again, that gets put back on us. And again, with Pastor over here talking, that's why we have got to come together. We've got to do this thing. And, you know, we talk about the systems and how the systems operate. But what we're talking about here is the first system is self. How are you operating? How are you as a system operating within other systems? And that's what we're talking about here. You can't talk the talk and not walk the walk. I have a friend the other day, she said, oh, I had to run in Target. I was like, wait, you ran where? Oh, girl, well, it was right there. And I was like, and here we go. Here, you either going to not do it, or you're going to be part of the, you're going to be part of the problem, or you're going to be part of the solution. But it was right there. I just needed it. And I had to, I don't want to hear it. So yeah, we have to come together. Our mindset has got to change. Either we're going to do this thing or we're not, especially now.
Baby, didn't I just tell y'all I get up in the morning and I'm doing this whole mindset thing? You can call it woo, 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 all you want to. But for me and mine and myself, I need to make sure that I'm in the right mindset so that I can be the best person for not only myself and my family, but for the world. We are all still connected, whether you like it or not. We are still connected. We are connected to this earth as well. An anonymous says, y'all still boycotting Target. You damn right. I will never step foot back into Target, because once they show you who they are, you better believe them. So yeah, anonymous, we are. So Renee, before we start winding this down, I do want to ask you a question. You know, what is this bigger lesson in this story that we've talked about today? What is something that we really need to take away and go, am I the problem?
I believe the bigger lesson is that for as business owners and creators, protection, IP, understanding that we need to protect ourselves and get the right information to get our business going in the right way. So because they're coming. It's not when they coming or how they coming, they are coming. And so just like with the IP protection and what, I know it costs a lot of money. And then what I like what you said is that, think about it, take like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, this is how, little by little, putting up to protect your brand and protect your, what you really thought about in your idea. Now, I wanted to say that I was thinking about TikTok and IG and all stuff. I think I'm going to just take my company to fan base. They're black. That's what came to me. I was like, well, let's do fan base. So there you go.
Baby, selflessly go on over there. Go on, because you actually have the opportunity to even invest in that, which is our community. Okay. Listen, every once in a while, he opens up something where you can invest in yourself and in our own communities. Yes. You're not the only one, Renee. I'm over there too.
So am I, right? Girl, and I got my stock.
There we go. So now listen, we all need to help. This is what we're doing right here. You see what we're doing? Do you see what we're doing? We are promoting things that benefit our communities. There is nothing wrong with being a world citizen. There is nothing wrong with loving all cultures, but baby, you got to love your own too. You got to love your own, yourself, and understand there's nothing wrong with being proud of you and your community. And there's nothing wrong with making sure that you uplift our communities, because others are doing it as well. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to hear nothing about diversity is a horrible thing. Give me a break. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be trying to steal our stuff in the first place and make it yours. But listen, it's Black History Month. Before we start winding down, we want to make sure that we give a Black history fact. Dr. Angeline, you have one for us today. Can you share what you have?
I sure do. Our Black History person today is Granville T. Woods, and he aligns with what we're talking about right now. A Black man in 1880 who received a patent for the improved steamed boiler furnace, also known for improving braking systems, electrical switches, the roller coaster, why your trains aren't crashing into one another because of communications. And what happened? This brother had enough sense in 1880 to go get a patent at the age of 24, had over 60 something patents. And guess who tried to steal his invention? Thomas Edison. I bet you don't hear that when they talk about Thomas Edison and keep talking to you about him. So yes, today's Black History is Mr. Granville T. Woods.
Baby, Black history is American history. It is not only American history, it is world history. Tap in and don't just get caught up in one month. I celebrate Black history every single day of the year. And I make it a point to go and look for things that I've never heard of before so that I can educate myself and educate my family and share that fact with my son, my nieces, my nephews, because it's really important for us to understand. A lot of people don't understand. Listen, y'all, a lot of this stuff was oral. Our history was always passed down orally. And with them coming in, taking statues down and history here and there, you better get to talking and learning or else it's going to completely disappear. And then once again, you're going to be saying, was it me? Was I the drama? So I hope that you has actually learned something today. But we are actually going to start winding down now and getting ourselves settled down a little bit. We done got ourselves bubbled up to the top. We hope we taught you something. But Marlo, what are your final thoughts on this? And can you please tell us where we can find you?
My final thought, I'm going to steal from Dr. Angeline and say you cannot take down a system as you support a system. If you're going to hold the system up, you cannot hold the system accountable. And until you reconcile that within your gray matter, between your ears, you will continually find yourself in this cycle of abuse with these folks. Who you going to boycott this month? Who you gonna go to Facebook and complain because they wouldn't give you a seat at a table that you about to pay overpriced food for food that may or may not be cooked thoroughly? Divest. The water is not waterier. The ice is not colder. Water freezes at 32 degrees, no matter who put it in the freezer, y'all. And as long as you remember that fact and you stay true to who you are and you are not influenceable, it ain't a pair of stockings Kim Kardashian could put on to make me buy them. I don't care. And it's nothing against her. Get your money, sis. You won't get it from me. And all I'm saying is, no, I said waterier, sir, because I'm trying to get your anonymous attention. All I'm saying is, you have to have a plan. You have to stay gung-ho with your plan. And hopefully you could get you 4 or 5 homies to come along and they share that plan with you so that you can go about the business of building your own table, as we all talk about. And then eventually all your people could have a table. But it does not start by upholding and making excuses for a system that abuse you. If you want to hang out with me, I create content by my name, Marlo Layson. You should Google me and read great works of journalism, investigative and funny. I write about everything from politics to entertainment, all the things in between. Or you can follow me on Instagram, where every now and then I like to hop on there and crack a little joke for y'all or share some information that you may need one day in the future. That's it for me.
Y'all know y'all better go. I enjoy following Marlo. She is funny. She keeps me teeing, and I love it. But she's also educating, and that's important. Renee, what are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Thank you. So, I get nervous at the end, so let me just help this. So my final thoughts is about, so I just said that Shein makes $23 billion a year selling stolen Black designs for $5 while Black creators who invented those designs can't even afford to trademark their own work, we're literally funding our own cultural erasure for $5 at a time. So that's something we have to really think about that, people. And so my name is Renee Williams with Tricycle Sync. 70% of us report feeling unheard by our doctors. We're 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy complications, and it's time for the cure to take that back in our own hands. So we have an AI-powered cycle optimization, menopause, and maternal health that makes sure that we can report that information, put it all in a little package, and go to the doctor and say, I have receipts, and you need to listen to us. So please go to tricyclesync.com and try it out.
Absolutely love that. A lot of times we don't know that we can advocate for ourselves. We just go in and we just say, oh, that's what he told me to do. But guess what? That's not always the way. So make sure that you take good care of yourself. You want to contact Renee so that you can be the best body, mind, and spirit. All right, Dr. Angeline, this is the first time you've been on a show with me. And
I know, and I loved it.
What are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Sure. So I'm just going to wrap up and follow right behind my sisters right here. First of all, love yourself. Know that your Blackness is what they want. Your Blackness is the brand. And let's stop doing the white thing and do the right thing. So it might not be too popular for me to say that, but I'm just going to say it and put it out there because it's real. And so I am Dr. Angeline Dean. You can find me at www.intersystems with a Z on the end .rocks. I am the founder of Melanated Neurons Communiverse, an identity affirming education box subscription where melanin, memory, and mastery meet. There you have it.
Baby, you gotta go check. I gotta go check that out because I haven't had the opportunity, but I'm going to do it. So if I'm going to do it, I hope you meet me over there because this sounds fascinating to me. Now, listen, what does Lala gotta say? Listen, it always boils down to us. Don't be so enraged that you're not the one who's taking action. At some point, you got to look at yourself and say, is it me? Am I the drama? Be good to yourself. Respect creators. Help those who are building businesses by supporting them. Don't tear them down. Don't walk into somebody's Black art gallery and say, that's too much money. No, baby, did you check into how long it took them to learn that and do that? Support them. And if you can't support them money, talk them up so that you can help build our communities to be stronger. And that's what I have to say. And you can reach me at my website at laurakey.net if you're interested in possibly moving away and becoming a world citizen, which a lot of people are asking that question now. You have to answer a lot of questions to see if you're ready for it. On my page, you're going to be able to download a quiz to see where you are. Can I do it? I'm not ready. Or heck yes, let's get the passport going. So go ahead and download that for free. And also my other free resources are there as well. Now, listen, today we talked about a lot and we had such good conversation. Family, we appreciate every last one of you for being here, and all of your conversation really helps this show to be great. Now, our story is bigger than Shein. It's about Black creativity and how it's constantly being used and copied and repackaged while the original creators are being left behind. If you're building a business, this is your reminder, knock, 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 that your ideas have value and you have to protect what you create. Thank you to our queens for joining this conversation today, and thank you for watching. Make sure that you like and you comment and you subscribe, and that we will see you back here tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're here Monday through Friday. Now, listen, we also are on Spotify under Fly Nubian Queen, so you want to make sure that you follow us there, because if you miss a show, you'll be able to go back and listen to that again. And then if you just want a simple reminder, all you got to do is text the word Queens, Queens, to 87948. And you'll get notifications when we go live. But for now, we want you to love yourself, enjoy, go learn something else on this Black History Month holiday. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace out. Love.